Thanks to leader newspapers. Coming up, all the action from Division 3, 2 and 1 in the SAS Security Final Series, plus all the netball winners and losers, the handball competition. Don't go anywhere. For the next little while, this is SFNL TV. And welcome to SFNL TV for week 2 of the SAS Security Final Series. And joining me at the desk, as he always does, David Hampton.
Welcome, Wiz, and great to be here again this week. Of course, plenty to get through. We've got the Division 3 finals from last week to cover. Divisions 1 and 2 coming up this weekend, of course, with plenty of special guests coming in to join us. We've got the handball, and let's not forget the girls in the netball, who had all their grand finals last week. Why don't we kick it off with that?
Why not? Last Saturday out at Rowans Road Netball Courts in Dingley were the grand finals for all 6 divisions, and joining us at the desk hammers is our netball expert Alicia Wise. And Alicia, congratulations firstly on the Division 1 premiership.
Thank you, it's great to be here.
We'll get to that a little later on, but let's first talk about some of the other games. In Division 6, Alicia.
Yes, we had Dandenong 38 defeated Mount Waverley 31, and the best on court was Mandy Hall.
Congratulations to Mandy, good effort there.
Yeah, terrific, and she played very well, as did all of her teammates.
Yes.
And Mount Waverley were top of the ladder coming into it. But,
they were, yeah, and Dandenong knocked them off, so really good effort by Dandenong. I think Mount Waverley were definitely the favourites going in, so yeah, really, really good effort by them.
I know we'll get on to all the other games, but big good crowds with the netball over the weekend as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge crowds down there. It was amazing to have all the supporters down there, and I think we were a bit worried with the later game that we weren't sure if we'd get the sort of crowds clashing with the football, but yeah, it was great down there. Huge support.
No, terrific. And Division 5, Alicia.
Yes, Division 5 had Hyatt 54 to beat Mordialloc 23, and the best on court was Stephanie Hansen from Hyatt, and they had a great win over Mordialloc. They lost a few games late in their season, Hyatt, so we thought they might be on the downward slope, but they definitely picked it back up in the granny to win 54-23.
A great season from both sides, but on the day it looked like Hyatt.
Division 4 had Heatherton 33 to beat St Kilda City 29, so a close game in Division 4. And the best on court for the grand final was Erin Naismith from Heatherton.
So a very close game, only 4 goals there, and a great rivalry building between Heatherton and St Kilda City, as we'll see later on in Division 2.
Let's take a look at Division 3.
We had Caulfield 54 defeat the Dingley Dingoes 37. And the best on court for Division 3 was Zena Teo, their goal attack from Caulfield.
Great win there for the Bears too. A mighty win. They've had a terrific season, Alicia, haven't they?
They've had a great season, Caulfield Bears. Yeah, run really, really well.
And of course in Division 2, Alicia, we've had an absolute thriller here.
Yeah, it was an incredibly close game in Division 2. So we had St Kilda City 30 defeat Heatherton by 1 goal 29. And it was a really, really close game. Heatherton were actually down by 9 in the second quarter, and they came back, pegged back to St Kilda, and they lost on the siren when St Kilda City scored a goal that wasn't allowed by the umpire, but then was overruled and allowed and lost by a goal.
Ooh.
So well done to St Kilda for holding on to that game.
And who was best on court?
The best on court was Simone Stewart from St Kilda City.
Well done to both teams. That's a tremendous game of netball.
Absolutely.
And almost a shame for it to be decided in that way in the last moment of the entire season.
Well, of course, this time last year we thought it was Heatherton and Dingley that had the great rivalry, but as you said earlier, Wiz, it looks like Heatherton and St Kilda City are starting to build one as well.
Now finally, Alicia, Division 1, and of course the game that you captained the Dingoes to a memorable 3rd consecutive premiership. I might do the scores there.
I think we should do the scores on this one, and we might even do best on court. Yes, of course.
Well, because Dingley 46 defeated Keysborough 38 hammers, and best on court was
the lady alongside us, Alicia Wise.
Oh, Alicia, congratulations. Well done. Now, Alicia, it's worth noting too that...
Where's the cup? Sorry, before we go any further, I want to see the cup.
The cup may have been misplaced on the weekend of celebrations. We are hoping it's at the Dingley Footy Club. We're not confident that it is.
Okay.
Our president this morning didn't know where it had been put. So
I'm sure it'll turn up. You won't be the first or the last premiership team to temporarily lose the cup. Of course, Alicia, that's all part of the fun of it, isn't it? And I note with interest too, the previous couple of grand finals and the interleague game, anybody that played against Alicia Wise usually wins the best on-court medal. But you've reversed that trend as well.
I finally got one back, yes, after 4 painful years of my goal attack winning. It was nice to finally get one back.
So a terrific game between and Dingley and Kersborough have had a bit of a rivalry all season, and they wouldn't let go. They really made you work all the way for it, didn't they?
Yeah, our Keysborough has such good competitors, and it's why we've always enjoyed playing with them. Same with Heatherton as well. They're just two really, really strong sides that push you to the final siren. They never ever give up, and they were never going to, so we could never relax during that game. But yeah, it was a really good competition. And
there were a couple of changes during the day. I know Sam from Keysborough moved herself back to goalkeeper late in the day, or during the course of the game there to try and stop the flow of goals.
Yeah, our goal shooter was having a blinder. She was just sinking goals from everywhere and was really dominant down there. So Sam, she's got a great presence on court, and she's a very strong player. So she actually called time halfway through the second quarter, placed her back, herself back on Penny, and sort of stopped the flow of goals a bit. It was probably a good move by them, but then we sort of readjusted and changed our game plan, and then our goal attack had to step up, and so it was we sort of came back at them, I guess, and got back on top.
All right, so Alicia, I know you've been partying pretty hard in the hours since
the voice sounds a tad husky.
Yeah, no, it usually does. But I know you've got a few people you want to thank after a terrific season at Dingley.
There's a lot of people that would like to thank from the Dingley Footy Netball Club. Our President Cole and our Vice President Lee Menzel's, who supported us ever since day one and have really got behind the netball team. Our coach Penny and Sars in Divi 1. All the coaches did a tremendous job, but yes, probably specifically Penny and Sars, who played and coached and had a really tough year doing that this year. We're well rewarded with the premiership. And then all the netballers that just really supported us from Divisions 1 through to 6, and the footballers as well that were always behind us and supporting us as well. So.
Well, there we go. And Dingley, of course, premiers for the third consecutive year in Division 1, and congratulations to all concerned there. In fact, to all of the netballers in all divisions. It's been a fantastic season and some terrific games of netball.
Getting stronger and stronger every year.
No question about it. And they'll all be back next year trying to knock you off, Alicia. So thanks for your work this year. And we'll be back with some footy after this. And welcome back to SFNL TV, and Hammers, it's time for the Under-19 Handball Challenge.
Let's get over and have a look. Will Hunter's got the boys with him now.
Yes, thanks Wiz and Hammers, and we're back for the 2015 Under-19s Handball competition once again for this week. This week's episode we have Joe Beckish from the Height Football Club and Perry Vargas from the St Kilda City Footy Club. Now Perry, you've been playing a bit of senior footy this year. How's the side been going?
Just a lot of honourable losses, if that's what they're called, you know, just 1 or 2 kicks out of it. But no, good to get a bit of experience up there. Yeah, no, good fun.
Absolutely. And Joe, you're a big strapping lad. Now, Beckish, that's an interesting last name. Where's that come from?
It comes from Poland in Europe. So.
Oh, fantastic! Good stuff, boys. Now I'll get you to call the toss.
Yep.
Get the old coin out. Now you call heads or tails.
I'll go tails.
Tails. And heads it is. No one can call it right throughout this series so far. Now, would you like to handball first, Perry?
Joe can go first.
No worries. Kick it off, pal. Now, Joe, you know the drill. You saw it last week. 3 on the left, 3 on the right. High score wins. Off you go, pal. 3. 5. 10. Warmed up nicely. 5. And well done, Joe. You narrow winner, 43 to 40. Congratulations, pal.
Thank you.
All the best for the rest of the season. And I know St Kilda City are doing well in the under-19s, and all the best for the rest of your season.
Thanks.
Thanks to the boys for being a part of it today, and we'll see you again next week for the under-19s handball. Back to you, Wiz and Hammers.
Thanks, Will.
Great win to Joe, and of course through to the grand final.
And also thanks to Elizabeth Miller from Buxton Real Estate for that fantastic handball today.
It is brilliant.
It's time for a break. We'll be back after this.
I can't speak for all clubs, but especially at mine, the environment was very much around gambling instead of the actual game itself. We never really spoke about who we were playing on the weekend because we'd always be talking about, gambling or what multi-bets or little things like that, what horses we were going to bet on, because I don't think people realise once you're saturated with it, it's always in the back of your mind. Sport was built for the love of the game and not the odd, and try and bring it back to why we all love sport.
The convergence of sports and gambling has been a concern for us, and I think it's a concern for many in the community. The ultimate purpose of Gambling Is Not a Game is to help sporting clubs disassociate gambling activities and sport, and in particular promotion to underage kids.
And what it really tries to do is engage with sporting clubs, both at an elite level and a grassroots level across the state, and encourage them to think about their environment and how they can play a role in promoting a responsible gambling environment within their club.
From our perspective, for our supporters and for the people that we communicate and touch as a club, it is very important that gambling is not something that can become a problem, then in many cases overwhelm individuals and their families and the people around them, and that's something that we've got to, as an industry and as a community, make sure that we avoid.
And welcome back to SFNL TV. It's time to talk some football now, and in Division 1 and Division 2 it is finals time at last, and the SAS Security Final Series commences in earnest this weekend for Division 1. And joining us at the desk, the two senior coaches, Sam Anstey from Mordialloc and Mark Desson from St Paul's. Thanks for joining us, boys. And Sam, we saw your boys last weekend against East Brighton. It was a tough day there.
Yeah, it was. Didn't quite pan out the way we were planning. But it was a dead rubber, which is always a strange game to play in and to coach. So we sort of got out of it pretty injury free, which is probably the main thing going into this week. And
it's been a fantastic season for Mordialloc, coming up from Division 2 last year, straight through to the final series. Well done.
Yeah, we weren't sure how we were going to sit this year. Obviously keen to stay out of relegation initially, and then sort of about halfway through, finals became on the agenda.
Okay, well, Mark, your boys have been in tip-top form. The Doggies, I think, winning 10 of your last 11 games. Just the one loss there, I think, to Clayton by a point. Where's the turnaround for your boys been? I think you're about 3 and 5 at one stage in the year.
Well, 2 and 5 after 7.
Sorry, 2 and 5.
2 and 5 after 7, but things were, a bit. It was obviously a position we hadn't been in previously for a number of years, if any time really. But
because it wasn't just injuries, did you tweak some things because when you boys have got on a roll, you're now starting to look really, really dangerous.
Yeah, look, we obviously lost some key personnel early on, some key players, but credit really goes to players. I think the players we've still got. Well, at that point in time, we still had a bunch of senior guys there to play a lot of footy, and even though at that time we're probably playing 7 or 8 kids out of our 19s, we still had that top end sort of talent, and those guys, the Peter McCooliers, who was injured at the time, and Ken Halls and these sort of guys have been around a while. They really stood up and gelled the club and the culture, which I'm big on, and they got those young kids up and about. Credit goes to the players; they've really stood up and made my job a little bit easier. So we've changed a few things. Obviously, structurally, you plan at the start of the year to come up with a game plan that suits your list, but unfortunately we had to change things up a little bit. But
when your list changes, obviously so too does the planning.
It does. We went back to sort of bare bones a little bit, to be honest. We wanted to get the fundamentals in place, the key things of any footy club, and that was good culture and good habits and good attitude, and go from there. And I just
want to ask you, a couple of those kids, I believe, did go back and play some junior finals. I think Scylla might have been one. And Have you got any fear in taking young kids into an elimination final this week?
No, not at all. Not those kids. And James Ziller and Ethan Licandro, you're probably referring to. Ethan, he's tied up with our under-17s at St Paul's, and James is with St Peter's. But the unfortunate thing for us, and those two boys won't be with us on Sunday. They got grand finals of their own with St Peter's and St Paul's. So it'd be nice to. I don't think their game's about 4:50 or 4:30 at Sandringham on Sunday, but wouldn't mind creeping in for a couple of
quarters. They can play a couple of games on a Sunday, can't they?
Now, Sam, you'd be pretty happy to hear about that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that makes my job a little bit easier, not having a quality couple of young guys out there.
Mm-hmm. And what about you? You were missing last week. Are you expecting to get yourself up to play this weekend?
Yeah, I'll settle back up this week. We had a few guys sort of had a rest, so just trying to put a few of the old fellas in cotton wool, get a break when we can, because we're not going to get one, during the final series. So. So just make sure we were fully stacked this week.
So Sam, you played all of your finals last year at Jack Barker Oval, of course, in Division 2. This year you find yourself at Springvale Reserve. They're both big grounds. Are there any adjustments that you're going to need to make to your style?
Not really. Our home ground out at Morty Alex is pretty big. I reckon it's going to be very similar to Springvale. So in terms of our structures and the way we move the footy, I think hopefully it'll suit us. We're not an overly big team, so we're all about trying to run and carry the footy. So I think it should suit us down to the ground.
Mm-hmm. And your form of late, Sam, hasn't been that great for Morty Alec. It just appears to me on the outside that you may have hit the wall a little bit, as in comparison to, I think, St Paul's, who are sort of really coming. Is that something you've got to address this week, or really you're going to try and really freshen the boys up?
Yeah, I mean, over my 3 years at the club, we've played in 2 grand finals in a row.
So they're long seasons, aren't they? They've all been long seasons.
They're long, and they're just as much a mental thing for us at the moment. So definitely looking to freshen the boys up, and I think we have over the last few weeks. We've had a couple narrow losses, had a pretty significant loss on the weekend. So we're still around the mark, but we haven't been performing the way we would like. So hopefully we can get it all back on board this week, and we'll see if we've been freshened up and we can find something.
Now, Mark, Jared Allen has been in sensational form in the last few weeks. He's looking every bit the winner, but there's a few others there that are attracting some attention. Of course, Wilson's been playing some great footy all year. Is this where the win's coming from your point of view? How are you going to kick a winning score?
Look, Jared's been good, no doubt. He had an injury. He had an injury layoff there for a couple of weeks, and we've managed to get a couple of games under his belt. So I think it's important that you get those last couple of games in before the finals. Generally don't like to rest people before the finals. Jared, along with Ridgeway, had a rest a couple of weeks ago. He played on the weekend. He's going to be better for the run. We've got some good on-ball rotations now, and we'll use them as well as best we can, and get it down to our forwards as best we can. But in saying that, that's probably the strength to us this year, and what's been really great is our backline. I think we've got a young kid there named Kieran Knox, who's probably go close to our best in Ferris. He's had a super year, a young kid out of our 19s. He's had a couple of years of senior footy, and some real drive there. And he's him together with those other back five have been really critical for us. So we haven't kicked a lot of goals, to be honest. We've been really concentrated on the defensive side of our game, and that's a real credit to our backline. So if those guys can hold down these boys, and we can get some good use out of the middle. That's the plan.
Is there anything in particular you've identified with Morty Alec, being how they like to play and possibly get the ball on the outside and run? I mean, I know Sam's got more of a Ammo's background, and they certainly play that style of football.
Yeah, look, I suppose Morty Alec, and credit to them, they've come up and done really well. They've competed really well, and obviously don't know a lot about them. I've obviously been in Divi 1 for a few years now, and you sort of get used to the East Brightons and the Dingleys and of the like over the journey. And obviously with Morty on the scene this year, you sort of a couple of games there, and you sort of taking what you can, and you got some some use of the video.
Were you surprised that they actually beat Dingley twice throughout the home and away season?
No, look, I wasn't.
Sam clearly wasn't.
Mate, no, we come up against them. They got us in the first time round,
well,
I think we're pretty similar type of sides actually. I think we are. I think Dingley, on their day, anyone can beat. They're beatable. And I think with their style of play, it's probably similar to ours. So it's the old saying. I mean, you use the footy as best you can and win the hard footy, and usually hold you in good stead. But no, they got some quality, no doubt about it. And we'll put some homework in and we'll see how we go.
Well, it promises to be a cracking game, Wiz, that's for sure.
No doubt about it. A mighty job awaits both sides, no question, to proceed further in the SAS Security Final Series for Division 1. And by about 5 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, we'll know the answers to the questions that we've been asking. All right, now it's time to look at Division 2.
Joining us at the desk, of course, this evening is Steve Kidd from the Caulfield Football Club and, of course, Ben Walker from the Sky Football Club. Welcome, guys.
Cheers. Thank you.
Now, Benny, of course, grand finalist in Division 2 last year. It's been a little bit of a slower year. Lost a couple of players along the way. You've qualified 4th, and this is the first big test of the season.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. So, really good year last year, but lost a few players in pre-season, and we've had a few injuries, but every club does, and we've got ourselves to the finals where it counts. So.
And how do you think you match up against the Bears? I think they've accounted for you twice during the season.
They have. They've done us twice this year. So, look, we're under no illusions that we're going to have to bring our best footy this week, and we'll be preparing for that.
Now, Steve, interesting year from the Caulfield Bears. Talk about form being up and down. You've had some very strange losses and then some brilliant wins, particularly last week, of course, knocking over Oakley Districts, the top of the table team. That must give your boys enormous confidence going to this week.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been pretty confident the last, and probably played our best footy, funnily enough, the last 3 or 4 weeks. We knew what we're capable of, because 1 week we can, come out and have a win against Sky, and then next week we can sort of lose to Heatherton. So it's for us, it's just about that gap and shortening that gap between our best footy and our not so great footy. And in the last 4 weeks we've been able to do that, and we're able to put it together on Saturday. And we're going to have to do that for another 4 weeks if we want to win a grand final.
Is that been due to personnel on the field? The reason for that form going up and down, or has it just been that the boys are just having off days and
yeah, probably a little bit. I think the continuity is something we've struggled with, but I think in park football, recreation football, Ben will probably tell you the same thing. Getting the same blokes on the park each weekend and training as well is really difficult. But yes and no, I think it's just a little bit of self-belief, more or less, within the group. So once our confidence is high and we're believing in what we can achieve, then that's tend to when they play their best footy.
Now, Ben, Adam Connell booted 5 goals for the Bears last weekend in a massive win over Oakley. What's your planning? I'm not going to give too much away around trying to curb the supply to Adam.
He's playing full back. So.
I was thinking about throwing my team around. Look, we've got a pretty good full back.
I think Ben might go to him himself.
That's what I was leading to.
Yes, I think you were.
I went back a couple of weeks ago and I got told I was the worst backman in the league, so by the assistant coaches, so I won't be doing that. We've got a pretty handy full back in Andrew Hook, who's been there for the past couple of years, and he's had a match up on Adam quite a few times now. He's kept him pretty quiet over the last few occasions, so we'll be putting him to the job, and I don't think there's any secrets about that.
And a full list to choose from this week? Yeah,
we do. We lost our skipper in round 5 against Keysborough with a pretty bad knee injury, but and that's been a huge loss for us. But apart from that, we've got our full list. So.
And Steve, you've enjoyed your first year coaching in the SFNL League?
Immensely, mate. Yeah, it's been fantastic. Yeah, really. When you get your first gig, you generally take it wherever. And being an ammo boy coming across to the Southern League, it's certainly been an eye opener. But also to be able to so close to have a product that you're developing is great. Really enjoyed the all that it has to offer. Yeah. And
it's a different style of football too to the VAFA. So how have you adapted there?
Yeah, we just found that it's a lot to do with the paddocks that you play on. I think a lot of the ovals are are old VFL grounds or VFA grounds, so they tend to be a lot smaller. Mm-hmm. So when you play these bigger body teams like Keysborough and Sky, and even some of the teams that didn't go so well this year, they've just got big strong bodies where we're pretty fleet of foot. So when we get out to the bigger grounds, we tend to really relish that. But when we go down to our own home deck, we probably play the same sort of football, and it's not conducive to that. So we played on Oakley on the weekend, for example, and it was a fantastic game of Southern Footy League. It was, people that there, the crowd was really good and the game was really humming. But then other times you just play on these small grounds, and if you like the bash and crash stuff, then it's great. but it's not really conducive to great running and carrying footy.
No, that's certainly true. It's not just the big bodies you'd be up against in the league. Of course, it's some of the best comb-overs in the competition, Benny.
Yes.
And that's...
At least he can still comb his over.
I wasn't going to go there.
You're going to stop that, mate. I'm copying so much grief from the boys.
All right. So, just a reminder, the elimination final for Division 2 in the SAS Security Final Series this Sunday at Jack Barker Oval in Cheltenham between Skye and Caulfield. It should be an absolute beauty. Get down there and have a look. And of course, last Saturday and Sunday in Division 3, the first round of the SAS Security Final Series for them. And the first one, of course, in the qualifying final on Saturday at Mead Reserve in Clayton Hammers was Mount Waverley versus Moorabbin.
It certainly was, Wiz, and great performance here by Mount Waverley. The Lions were fantastic. 19-16, 130, defeating Moorabbin, 11-1-67. Mark Russell tried hard for the Kangaroos with 3 goals, and Luke Gall kicked 5 for the Mountain Lions.
Gee, that straight kicking from the Kangaroos probably kept him in the game, Hammers.
I think it was the only thing that certainly was keeping them afloat there, but they've, of course, got their work cut out next week again because now they do have a cutthroat game.
Yeah, they do. So Mount Waverley will go through to the second semi-final and take on Blackrock this weekend at Heatherton Recreational Reserve on Saturday.
Yeah.
And Hammers, last Sunday at Clayton Reserve, we saw the elimination final for Division 3 between Ashwood and Karen Patterson Lakes.
Of course, this was our broadcast game as well on 88.3 Southern FM as well, and it was Ashwood 15-12, 102, defeating CPL, so their season's done and dusted now in Division 3. Great year for them. Trevor March kicked 4 goals. He tried his heart out, as he always does for Karen Patterson Lakes, but Chapman and Martiniccio were up forward for Ashwood. They were very, very good, and they kicked 4 goals apiece. So great performance by them. Not a lot of people tipped Ashwood to win that game.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we rate them both. They made the elimination final, but I think not many people expected to see the result finish quite the way it did, irrespective of who might have won the game. But it's a great outcome for Ashwood, and they'll front up next week in the first semi-final at Heatherton Recreation Reserve on Sunday against the Moorabbin Kangaroos. And back to Division 2 now, a reminder for everybody, the qualifying final this Saturday in the SA Security Final Series between Keysborough and Murrumbina. That's this Saturday at Jack Barker Oval in Cheltenham. And of course Sunday, as we've already mentioned, the elimination final between Skye and Caulfield, also at Jack Barker Oval.
And I can tell you, I can assure you, is that Jack Barker Oval, I've been told, is in magnificent condition. It was the best it's been in for some time. Now, of course, in Division 1 as well out at Springvale, and that too is in very good condition. We have East Brighton up against East Malvern.
Looking forward to all of those, so make sure you're a part of it, and not too late to contact the league office on the number on your screen to buy a season pass entry to all SFNL finals.
$50 gets you into all finals. That is, you can get to 3 grand finals alone for that, Wiz. $50, great value.
And even in the second week of the final series now, still great value of that sort of money. So contact the league office for details there. And if you can't get to any of the games, as we say every week, make sure you can get SFNL Live. It's a web-based mobile phone app, gets you all the live scores updated, and with the push of one button, you can get the Southern FM commentary from Hammers and the team. So if you haven't got it on your phone yet, get it. All right, Hammers, grand final breakfast.
Grand final breakfast, of course, don't forget that this year. It is at Woodlands Golf Club on the Friday, the 18th of September. Of course, Guy McKenna will be the special guest, and I believe you might be emceeing that little show yourself, Wiz. So well worth getting to. Make sure get your tickets.
Yeah, last one was a terrific one. $45 per person. Contact the league office. And good luck to all the footballers playing in the finals this weekend.
And congratulations once again to the girls who were able to win those grand finals in the netball.
Yeah, terrific stuff. That's all we've got time for, Hammers.
Goes very quick.
It does, but we'll be back again next week. So we'll talk to you then. Bye for now.